one more minute, and then I think the class is live, and I'm going to just share it on Facebook, and then we can
Kelly,
get
should we begin to call you Miss Chatterbox now?
started. One more. I'm going to just share it on Facebook. Right, so I think 1 minute.
Kelly, should we begin to call you Miss Chatterbox now?
All right, one more minute, and we'll get started. Thanks everyone for joining. All right, let's get started. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Hindi University. I'm really excited to have all of you this Sunday. As you know, my name is Ashutosh, and we meet every Sunday, 8 a.m. US Pacific time, which is time at the west coast of the US, and we learn about the Hindi language. For those of you who are new to Hindi University, you can learn more about us by going to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hindi University, and you can find over 550 plus videos, from different levels, and pick up from there. And those of you who are interested in joining our weekly classes, you can find all the details on our page, tiny.cc/Hindi University. Okay. Now, based on your time and availability, you can join the live class that we have. Along with all the other Hindi learners, you can join it via Facebook if you want, rather a passive interaction. You can also join, our practice sessions, which happen on a different time intervals because, different people are located in different, cities and countries, right? With that being said, we've been going over a book called Teach Yourself Hindi. Pretty much, bulk of last year and this year, Teach Yourself Hindi, book written by Professor Rupert Snell, and he's a professor in University of Texas, Austin. And right now we're going over, chapter number 15. So a good number of topics that you'll be seeing now onwards are all intermediate advanced level, classes. So, if some of the topics are slightly harder, don't get panicked. These are all basically, your language learning journey. Okay. And I'll try to, still break it down for you so it's not too complicated. But with that being said, you're always encouraged to ask as many questions as possible, and we'll try to discuss that. Okay. And if you missed any of the previous classes, you can always go to tiny.cc/Hindi University, and there's a separate tab for, this book, Teach Yourself Hindi, where all the lectures are sequentially, placed. Okay. So with that in mind, there will be a new topic today in chapter number 15, which is essentially Rupert Snell is covering how to say things which are in past habitual tense. Okay. And the main thing behind this is basically things that, where you will learn iterative construction, because things you already know how to say things in past tense. Okay, for the most part. Okay, there's a slight variation with iterative construction, so we'll learn about it. Okay, as always, the problem that we are trying to solve with this tool is how to say things that you or anyone used to do in the past. Okay, more importantly, as a habit, because we know how to say things in Hindi that we used to do in the past, right? That is not new. What is new is how to say things that you used to do in the past as a habit. Okay, so let me give you an example. So let's say we start with very simple example, which is I taught, or I used to teach Hindi. Let's say 20 years from now, I look back and say, I used to teach Hindi. Okay, very basic sentence. We'll try to learn. Most of you probably know how to say it in Hindi. Okay, the next level of the same sentence is I used to teach Hindi on Sunday. Okay, a little bit more specific. Okay, third one, which is slightly different, which is I used to teach Hindi on Sundays. Okay, more as a habit, as in every other Sunday it was a iteration, more than one. Okay, which perhaps may not be there. The emphasis of iteration may not be there in the second sentence. Okay, so now how do we say them in Hindi? So let's start with the very first one. I used to teach Hindi. I'm gonna pick one of you to tell me from the very basics how will you say that in Hindi. Okay, Kinga, you want to unmute yourself and tell us what is the word here?
Teach,
To teach.
सिखाना और पढ़ना.
Okay, to teach is what is the how do you say it in Hindi?
No, पढ़ना.
So padhna is
सिखाना.
okay. Sikhana is one, and just like padhna, it will become
पढ़ाना.
padhana. Very good.
Yeah.
Padhna becomes padhana. Padhna is to read.
Yeah.
Padhana
Just
is to teach.
Yeah.
Okay. So to teach is padhana. Awesome. Now, hopefully you wrote it down. Now, if you were to say I teach Hindi, very simple sentence. Okay. How will you say it, Kinga? Why don't you continue? I teach Hindi.
मैं हिंदी सिखाया.
No, in present tense. Right now, let's say.
In present. I teach Hindi. मैं हिंदी सिखाती हूँ.
Very good. मैं हिंदी सिखाती हूँ. For this one.
पढ़ाती हूँ.
So for you, Kinga ji, you will say मैं हिंदी पढ़ाती हूँ. For me, I will say मैं हिंदी पढ़ाता हूँ. Okay. What I've done for the beginners, I've removed the na and I have placed it with ta because for masculine singular, मैं हिंदी पढ़ाता हूँ. As simple as that. Okay. मैं हिंदी पढ़ाता हूँ. I hope this part is clear for most of you. मैं is I. Okay. Who is am. Okay. But in this case, it's like the form to be form of the verb. Okay. So I teach Hindi. मैं हिंदी पढ़ाता हूँ. If I were to remove, or let's say I have to ask you guys how to say the same thing in the past and change it to I used to teach Hindi. Sunita, you want to unmute yourself and tell us what change I'll make in this sentence so it can be.
मैंने
Okay.
मैंने हिंदी पढ़ रही थी.
मैंने हिंदी पढ़ाई. That's I taught Hindi. Okay. Yeah.
सीख रही थी.
Okay. So all those are good. Okay. But if you were to just literally translate it one-on-one with English, something that I did versus I used to do. Okay. So there are two flavors of past tense at a high level. What you're saying is correct, but it means I taught Hindi. Okay, मैंने हिंदी पढ़ाई. Okay, where पढ़ाना is used as a transitive verb and you're putting ne along with मैं. Okay, मैंने. But if I want to say I used to teach Hindi, anyone else would like to give it a try? Anna, unmute.
मैं हिंदी पढ़ाती थी.
Okay, good. So for me, it would be मैं हिंदी पढ़ाता था. All you have done is remove the मैं हिंदी पढ़ाता हूँ from who to था. Okay. Just to be clear, Sunita ji, your sentence was correct. Okay. So in fact, that is the more harder one. This is a simple one where you remove hu and you replace it with tha. And all it means is I used to teach Hindi. मैं हिंदी पढ़ाता था. Okay. मैं एप्पल खाता था, मैं स्कूल जाता था, मैं दोस्तों से बोलता था. All of these are I used to do certain things. मैं फुटबॉल खेलता था. Okay. There is no specific indication that you used to do that recurringly in a particular iterative manner. Okay. Now let's do this one. I used to teach Hindi on Sunday. Rita ji, I know you are on way. Ted, I don't know whether you can speak right now, but how about anyone? I'm gonna just keep it open. Anyone can unmute and see.
I can try.
Go for it.
मैं रविवार हिंदी पढ़ाता था.
Okay, so मैं रविवार को on Sunday. So मैं रविवार को हिंदी
पढ़ाता था.
Okay, रविवार को हिंदी पढ़ाता था. So all I have, और Sunday को हिंदी पढ़ाता था. All I have done is I have put this in between this sentence. On Sunday is रविवार को और Sunday को हिंदी पढ़ाता था. Little bit more specific than the previous one. Now let's say you want to say it as a habit. Okay, I used to teach Hindi on Sundays. Okay, a little bit more specific. Okay, I know we have not done it, but I'm gonna just write down how to say it in Hindi, and I'll ask you guys to. This time I'm gonna use a different approach. I'm gonna do 3 or 4 sentences like this, and I'm gonna ask you to tell me what is the pattern here. Okay, the way you will say this thing is मैं. You will write it as it is. रविवार को मैं संडे को और रविवार को हिंदी था will come as it is. Okay, Hindi. I will write it here as पढ़ाया करता था. Okay, मैं रविवार को हिंदी पढ़ाया करता था. Slightly different. Hang in there. This may be a little bit harder because you are probably seeing this pattern for the first time. Okay, you see that verb is still padhana. Okay, it's used along with some form of karna. Let's look at some more sentences. Right now, don't need to memorize anything. Right now, just look at what is going on here. Okay, so let's write another sentence in the same theme. Let's say my next sentence to you is I used to okay, so the next sentence is Rita ji, I was thinking about you when I was preparing the lecture. So I wrote Rita used to watch movie after exam. Think of it as like something that is like a ritual that you were like, to relax myself. I used to watch movies after, each exam, in the past, okay, or in my high school, okay. I'm gonna this time again translate it for all of you. Your job will be to continue to focus on what is it that's going on here, okay. So you will say मैं or Rita. You will say Rita exams के बाद, after the exams, okay. Rita exams के बाद movie. So this part is thi, you guys know, okay. This is the trick, okay. So it would be देखा करती थी. This part, think of it as still a mystery. Think of this one as number 1, number 2. Okay, the verb to watch is dekhna. To give you a clue, you can see it's dekha. You still see is followed by another word karna, but it's slightly different. Okay, Let me give you another one. So you have 3 sentences to compare and tell me the common theme among all of them. The third one is, this one I'm using for masculine singular, this is feminine singular, Rita. Okay. Third one is, we used to do homework as a, as a habit, or we used to do homework. Okay, so this is a simple sentence, and the way you will do it is hum homework the. Okay, but as a habit, the first one would be hum homework karte the, right? That's how you say it, hum homework karte the. In this case, you will sing kiya karte the. Okay, to do homework is homework karna, but you see, just like the dekha and padhaya, I wrote kiya. Homework karna becomes homework kiya, followed by some form of karte. Okay, all of you think harder. Okay, this is hard concept, so don't be worried if it is still not making sense, but at least look at what I have underlined here. Padhaya karta for masculine singular, kiya karte and dekha karti.
So Ashaji, sorry, that the participle there, is it always default masculine, single?
That's correct. That's a good observation. That is a good observation. Okay, so that's exactly what I want you guys all to collectively tell me what is going on here in the thing that I've underlined. Tell me.
Can I say something, Ashaji?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I agree with Kelly that the first one is in the masculine but past, but then the other one is the karna, but also according to the gender, or not? Infinitive form with the ending gender, right? So
Okay.
Rita is female, so is karti, we is, it's according to the gender, the pronoun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now what I'm hearing is there are 2 verbs, one followed by other, right? First one you are saying is your main verb, which is padhana, homework karna, dekhna. All of you agree on that. And you're saying there's one more item here, which is karna. Okay. And when I wrote for the first time for masculine singular, you're saying it's karta. Okay. Here for Rita, you're saying it's karti. And in this one, it's basically karte. Okay. That's, both of those are good observation. The third one is, anyone else? Anyone else who is finding it hard? Because I want to, hear from you. Even though it doesn't make sense, what do you see? Kinga, you want to unmute yourself and tell us?
Yes, so the first verb is like in the past masculine, but sometimes like in case of jhana, it's not past, like jaya will be not gaya.
Okay.
So it's not always like exactly the past. And then
let's say if that is an exception, that's a special
exception.
Yeah.
So it will be the first verb will be past, simple past masculine.
Okay.
And then and the second one with karna according to the gender.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so now as you all pointed out, I'm gonna erase it and I'm gonna write down the pattern here. So what we have seen here is, when you want to say sentences which are in habitual, let's say past tense, where you used to do things or you do things as a habit, the pattern here is you will use your main verb along with karna. Okay, so, and the main verb is basically used in the past perfect or participle form. Okay, along with karna, which is, inflected form of karna. I'm going to erase it as well, so I have more space. So what the pattern here is, I'm using the verb in the past perfect form along with karna, which is in inflected form.
Sorry, Ashuti. The third one is the ta, ti, te, which follows the karna. Is that right?
The third one, which is basically which is the homework one, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if it follows the ta, ti, te pattern follows the karna bit. Is that not right? We used to.
We used to.
Because
right.
it's we, is te, and then
Yeah.
that's the third one, is it?
That's
No.
right. That's right. The third one is हम homework किया करते थे. Okay. One variation is हम homework करते थे, but if you were to say it the same thing as a habit, हम homework किया करते थे. So
yeah.
Now let's see, in all the examples, what do I mean by using the verb in the past participle or past perfect form? Okay, let's try to look at all the 3 sentences that we learned today. The first one was, I used to teach. Right, the verb here is to teach is, as you know, is padhana. Okay, now, as you know, there are many forms to say that in the past. Padhana becomes padhaya, okay, for masculine singular. Okay, padhaye for masculine plural, padhai for feminine singular, or padhai for feminine plural. Okay, in our sentence we said padhaya, so that's one thing, padhaya. If you look at the translation, I said मैं हिंदी संडे को और रविवार को हिंदी पढ़ाया. Because I am मैं masculine singular, I remove the na and I put karta, inflected based on the gender of, and the number of the person who are saying it, right? So padhaya karta. Let's look at the next one, which is Rita, which is the fun one. Okay, Rita ji, you used to watch a lot of movies. I made it up. Okay, right? So Rita, movies, the verb here is to watch is dekhna. Okay, now for here also in the past form you will say dekha. Okay, मैंने देखा or देखे, and that's basically masculine singular. Okay, देखे masculine plural, देखी feminine singular, देखी with a nasalized sound feminine plural. However, we said Rita movies, Sundays को movie देखा करती थी. So we are using, even though Rita is a female, we are using dekha, and then because it's conjugated based on Rita movies dekha karti thi. Okay, in both the cases you see that we are using, these are all the part form of the verb, but in all the forms we are picking masculine singular one. Okay, हिंदी आशु हिंदी पढ़ाया करता था, Rita movie देखा करती थी. Okay, and the third one also, which is basically to do homework. So I'm gonna just do the verb there is, to do homework. The verb here is to do is karna. So homework karna. So you will say kiya, and this is the irregular verb, right? Kiya masculine singular, kiye masculine plural, ki feminine singular, and ki for feminine plural. But there also we are saying hum homework just like पढ़ाया, देखा, we are saying किया, करते, because it's for we. Okay, हम homework किया करते थे. So what you all have observed is when you want to say something in past tense as a habit, that as a theme or as an iteration, it's slightly more than, let me erase it. Okay, slightly more than just saying I used to do homework, which is I used to do homework, which is हम homework करते थे. It is a little bit more than that. Okay, what you're doing is, rather than just saying हम homework करते थे, you are looking at the verb which is karna and you're using it as in the past participle form for masculine singular, followed by the conjugated form of karna after that. So for hum it would be kiya karte. Okay, so hum homework kiya karte the. Now here's the good news. You don't have to use this in your day-to-day conversation, especially even if you're intermediate or advanced student. However, having this knowledge of this pattern, it is useful when somebody else you're speaking with are using this pattern. Okay, you can still say that मैं homework किया, मैं homework करती थी, मैं बचपन में homework करती थी, मैं बचपन में और मैं childhood मैं soccer खेलती थी और मैं बचपन में movie देखती थी. Absolutely correct. However, if the other person you're speaking with, they are using this pattern where they're using the main verb in the past participle form along with karna, it should strike you that they are using this pattern, and which is completely fine. Okay, so as far as learning is concerned, you should know about it, but don't feel compelled that you just have to use it. Okay, and let me take a pause and see if you have any questions or if it is still a little bit vague. We will spend more time on it, but it's better to take a pause here. Let's hear Simona ji. Any confusion here? Anything which is like
No, thank you. I think it's very clear. It just needs some practice, definitely.
okay.
So,
Okay, so let's do this practice. Why don't you tell me a verb, something from the past that you used to do? Tell me something that you used to do as a habit or as a ritual.
Ashwiji, I have a request, please.
Yeah, 1 minute once I'm done, and then I'm come to you right after that. Yeah.
So I used to read one book every day.
Oh wow. So I used to read a book every day. What is the word here?
The verb
Yeah.
to read,
To read is padhna.
parna.
Right? Now you know that we have to use padhna in the past participle or past perfect form along with the karna. So how would you say that? For masculine singular, padhna will become
Parti thi, me parti thi.
okay. So
Masculine singular. Oh,
yeah.
partata.
So let's break it down. I used to read is, if you were to just say it by default pattern, you will say मैं
parti thi.
मैं पढ़ती थी. Okay, but that is still, you are removing na and you're putting ta, te and ti based on the person. For you it's padhti thi. Okay, padhna, if you want to say it in the past tense, you remove na, it's padha, padhe, padhi and padhi with a nasalized sound. Okay, for masculine singular, if you were to say I
मैं
read. Yeah,
हरा करती थी.
very good. So you were saying मैं हर
हरा
रोज, yeah, मैं हर रोज एक किताब पढ़ा, because that's the masculine single form of past participle. पढ़ा करती
थी.
थी. Awesome. Makes sense now?
Yeah.
Do you see the subtle difference? Like, you know, here you're saying मैं पढ़ती थी. मैं हर रोज किताब पढ़ती थी. Okay? Completely correct. There's nothing wrong in it. But if the other person is using this pattern, you know, where they are using it in the past participle form and along with the karna, they are saying the same thing, but they're emphasizing more on the iteration of it. Okay? To me, both convey the same, you know, underlying thing. You just need to be aware of, you know, the pattern. Anyway, Nandini ji, you were asking. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
thank you. Just one question, but if we use har, should we say har din? Or
Har
if,
din, you either way is fine. Har roz, har din,
yeah.
yeah, it's the same thing.
No, I mean, if you use har, you have to add din because you didn't put. But if you say rose, it's just rose, no?
Rose and then, to me, I'm using it in the same way. हर दिन एक किताब पढ़ा करती थी और हर रोज एक किताब पढ़ा करती थी. You can, whichever you're comfortable with.
Okay.
If this suits you better, go with it. हर दिन एक किताब पढ़ा करती थी.
Okay.
Yeah? Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Nandini ji, go for it.
My request was answered. I just wanted a main verb without karna attached to it so that I can understand it. So
Yeah.
read was perfect for that. That's all I was asking.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Now you are on the spot, so you have to, you know, as
Oh,
you're
no.
as
Okay,
you're
let's start
practicing.
then.
Tell me something that you used to do as a kid.
I used to play every day.
I used to pray. Okay, so
I
let's
used
see.
to play regularly.
Play. Okay, I thought pray. Okay, so I used to play.
I wish. Both.
I used to play. What do you used to play?
I used to play tennis.
Tennis. I used to play tennis every day. Okay. So now you have to tell the main verb. And
The
I'm going
main
to
verb is kelna.
Okay. And as I'm writing it, I want all of you to think about something that you used to do as a habit. Okay. And start working along with, you know, what you know, just Simona ji did and Nandini ji is doing it now. So to play is khelna. Khelna. Okay. So if you were to just say I used to play, forget about the ritual or pattern or, you know, the what do you call it? Iterative. Yeah. You will say मैं खेलती थी. Okay. Which is no different than the simplest sentence you will do is मैं खेलता हूँ. Okay. In your case, you will say मैं खेलती हूँ. Okay. Which you change it to remove the हूँ and you put थी. मैं खेलती थी. So the verb is you remove the na and you put t. Now, what is the different past form of khelna?
Khela, kheli,
Khela.
khele.
Khela. Okay, so khela, khele. So this is masculine singular, masculine plural, and then
Kheli,
kheli, and then kheli with an egg-like sound. Okay, so this is feminine singular, feminine plural. Okay, now tell me.
So may, and then the main verb is the masculine singular in the past tense. So
Yes.
may khela, may tennis, khela, khati, thi,
मैं टेनिस खेला.
khati,
Awesome.
thi.
मैं टेनिस खेला करती थी. Okay, awesome, great. Who else? Who is finding it hard? Raise your hand. Because, you know, there's no rush, as you guys know. There's no rush to finish it. It's better to take it slow, go step by step, and even if it means that we have to step back, You know, you can use the Zoom feature to raise your hand. Olina ji, it's okay? Everything? Thumbs up, thumbs down? You can
It's okay. Can I try to make a negative sentence?
yeah,
a
let's try
negative.
that. Let's see how it works.
During the university, I used to not eat breakfast.
Okay, so during
The university time,
the university, I used to skip breakfast. Is that what you want to say?
I want to say not eat. I want with a negative.
You want to say the
I
other?
I used to not eat breakfast.
I used to not eat breakfast. Okay, awesome. Let's do that. Why would you do that though? Just kidding. Why would you skip breakfast? Anyway, go for it. I used to not eat breakfast. What is to eat?
University के समय
Okay.
मैं नाश्ता नहीं खाया करती थी.
Okay. Okay. Good. So what is the verb here?
खाना, to eat.
Khana is to eat. Okay. Okay. And what are the different forms of khana in the past?
खाया, खाई, खाए.
Okay. Khaya, khaye. So this is
Khaye.
masculine singular, masculine feminine. Yeah.
खाई for feminine.
Okay. And then
And
khayi,
खाई for feminine plural.
feminine singular, feminine plural. Okay. So for positive, as you said, university ke during the keep going during the university.
University के समय
यूनिवर्सिटी के समय
मैं नाश्ता breakfast
नाश्ता
नहीं खाया करती थी.
Awesome. To me, this is absolutely correct. Some people can say, you know, when you already have nashta, why can't you use kiya? Nashta nahi kiya karti thi. That's acceptable as well. Okay. So you might hear this part as well. Nashta nahi kiya karti thi, or you know, nahi. So that's fair as well. But you're good. You're right there. The nahi will come before the verb. That's the only main thing you have taught in this sentence. One of the main thing. Okay. Otherwise, it's absolutely correct. University के समय, university के दौरान. That's another word you will hear. दौरान. The way you will write it in Devanagari, you have a the with o, ra with a, and दौरान. University के दौरान. You might hear that word as well. But this is accepted. Completely fine. University के समय.
So nahi comes before kiya or khaya. Nahi khaya karti thi.
Say it again.
I was thinking, should I put nahi before khaya or after khaya? So is it before?
Nahi before the verb. I would put before the verb. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Anyone else who is finding it hard? Okay, go with that, because I think it's better. Try to find a little bit more complex example. Okay. Why don't we try something from Rupert Snell? So right now, all the habits we have done, they are in the past. But this is one of the habitual construction that can be used in present as well as in the future, as well as in the imperative. Okay. Now it may sound intimidating, but let's see what it means by that. Which is basically what Rupert Snell uses in one of his examples. He says, write me letters. Okay, I made a little bit more fun and I said, so in this case, he's commanding to someone, write me letters. Okay, how as a habit basically. Forget about, let's say it was not a habit. How would you say that in Hindi? You're commanding someone that write me letters. Tatyana ji, I know it's hard. Give it a try. To me, I'm going to break it down for you. To me, one should or you should send letters. First, we'll do without habit, and then we'll change it to how to say the same thing as a habit. You there, Tatiana ji?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
You're thinking, okay.
I'm
Thinking.
thinking.
Let's see. To me, how do you say to me?
मेरे लिए
Okay. To me, remember, to in Hindi is roughly translated as को.
मुझे
Yes. मैं plus को is मुझे और either मुझे.
मुझको
Very good. Awesome. मुझको.
मुझको
हाँ.
मुझको भेजने के लिए
Okay. So write me. What is the verb here? To write is
to write, to send. Okay. To write. लिखाने के लिए लिखाना.
लिखना. Very good. Right. To
लिखना.
write. And letter is, you can say letter or you can say patra.
पत्र.
Patra. Either way is fine. Okay. So मुझको letter.
मुझको पत्र. लिखे करते थे.
Okay. So remember, you're commanding someone. So it would be
मुझको लेटर लिखना करते थे और लिखना करो है.
okay. So I think almost there. So it will be लिखा करो.
लिखा करो.
Like for example, I will say आप चाय पियो. Okay. आप खाना खाओ. Right. So the simplest would be मुझको लेटर लिखा करो. Okay. So I think I made sorry, if there was no, sorry, I think I wrote it in a different form altogether as a habit. Okay. If you were to say, if you're commanding to someone, it will be मुझे लेटर लिखो. You're commanding someone, like मुझे लेटर. Remember the 4 forms of imperative. मुझे लेटर, लिखिए, लिखिएगा, लिख, and लिखो. Right? So this is like, let's say there was no habit. मुझे letters लिखो. Okay? आप चाय पियो. I'm commanding. Okay? और आप चाय पीजिए. Right? So the verb is लिखना, and we have just wrote लिखना into different ways. Which is, yeah, remember that? Right? So this is without the notion of habit or any recurrence. Now, if you were to say the same thing with the pattern that we have learned so far, you will say मुझे letter. Now you are using the verb in the past participle form, which is लिखना, and in the past it would be मुझे letters लिखा. Now the karna that you are using, it will change according to this imperative, and it will become मुझे letters लिखा करो.
Ashuji,
Yeah.
what does it mean? How do I recognize the difference now? If someone says to me, write me letters, I can also say मुझे letter लिखो. So I don't understand the difference now. When do I use that as a habit?
If I were to tell you the same thing, like मुझे letters लिखा करो, that means there is an underlying request that do it recurringly, not like as a one-time thing मुझे letter लिखो.
But if I say to someone, please write me letters, it means stay in touch, write me letters. I can also say मुझको letters लिखो.
You can say that. In English,
Okay.
there is no notion or separate. You can, in English, you can say, write me letters daily or every other, every other month. Okay.
Okay.
In Hindi, you have another layer of it. You can still put, मुझे letters लिखा, मुझे हर दिन letters लिखा करो. You can still use that extra part, but the difference is मुझे letters लिखो. It lacks the emphasis of iteration.
Okay.
This one, it has the emphasis of, you commanding someone to do it at a particular frequency.
Mhm.
So I can't talk, but we would still use the past perfect though, even though we're not using a past sentence. Like before we were saying, I used to, but even though this is like, you're going away, write me letters, you would still use the lika.
That's correct. That is correct. So the question is, her question is, do I have to, regardless of the sentence is a request or is imperative, okay? Do I still use the past participle form of the first main verb in the masculine singular? That is correct. Regardless of whether, even if you were to say the sentence in future, मुझे letters लिखा करिएगा, okay? Or, लिखा, हम letters लिखा करेंगे. The second part is getting conjugated based on the tense and based on your main verb. The first one is still always in the past participle form for the masculine singular. This one can change it. So far we were using it in the past, like, which is what, like, मैं पढ़ाया करता था, मैं movies देखा करती थी. So that was all easy because it was always like, karta, karti, and karte. What I'm trying to highlight here is you can have fun with this also, with the second verb as well, which may be hard, right? That, you're adding too many variations now in this sentence. Questions? Anyone? I know this probably is throwing people off. Like, what the heck? So far it was all past. It was all fun. Okay, so let's make it fun. Okay, let's, again, as a habit, you're saying, मुझे, write me letters. Do not send me tweets. Do not send me tweets. Okay. The verb I'm thinking in my mind is tweet karna in this case. How will you say that in Hindi? We are doing okay with time. So let's see. I want all of you to give it a try, okay? Because this is a little bit hard, but this will help you. Hopefully, it will force you to think, to use the same pattern that you used here, which we already converted in Hindi. Shamila ji, what do you think? You recall what we did for the first one? Write me letters. How do you say that?
मुझे पत्र लिखा करो.
Very good. मुझे
पत्र लिखा करो.
पत्र लिखा करो. How will you send the second one? Do not send me tweets.
Tweets मत भेजा करो.
Yes, very good. Oh wow. Tweet मत भेजा करो और tweet मत किया करो. Okay. Awesome. Amazing. I thought, it may be hard to get mat, but you surprised me. So thank you so much. And, Olina, if you remember, in the previous sentence, we put nahi, right? But this is an imperative. So negative sentence, if they use an imperative, instead of nahi, you use mat. Okay. So that's exactly, she used the same pattern. मुझे पत्र लिखा करो. Write me letters. Okay. This has the focus of iteration. Without this, if you were to write it in the previous, based on your previous understanding, you will say मुझे पत्र लिखो. ट्वीट मत करो. This is how you will say it. Let's say if we have not gone through this lecture today, this is what you would do. मुझे पत्र लिखो, tweet मत करो. Okay. Lacks. So I'm going to write it here. Lacks the iteration. Okay. Any questions? All of you are thinking.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
Suji, I think I've got confused.
No.
Isn't the main verb beja here? No.
Which one? मुझे tweets मत. Okay.
Beja karo.
What's the question?
Mat beja karo. Like we just said likha karo.
Okay.
Was it
So
likha kiya karo? No, it was just likha karo.
two sentences. Do not send me tweets. Right? You can say to send tweet is tweet karna versus tweet bhejna. This is sort of up for a discussion. How would you say something which is so modern, but like in Hindi, how do you say to send a tweet? I would say tweet karna. Some people can say tweet bhejna because it is actually an email delivery, right? You see what I'm saying? So I usually go with tweet karna because this is not really a mail that I'm like sending, just like I'm sending a letter, like or a parcel. Yeah. So I say tweet karna, which is basically karna becomes kiya, just like before. मैं homework किया करता था.
Sorry, it was very silly. Thank you.
Yeah. No. It's good. It's good because if you have question, most likely other people also have a similar question. Okay. Now I think we have 5 more minutes. So how will you ask the question? Let's say this time I'm going to do so we have done positive, we have done negative. Let's do interrogative. And this is the breakout room for now, and also when you guys meet, in your own breakout room. If you were to say in the previous scenario, there's no repetition. In your childhood, what you used to do? आप बचपन में क्या करते थे? That's how you say it without this lecture. आप क्या करते थे? और आप as a kid or in your childhood, what did you used to do? आप क्या करते थे? Try to change this sentence using the pattern we learned in this class today. Tom, you want to try that? आप बचपन में. Let me know if the ask is not clear.
Yes, I'd like to try. What did you used to do in your childhood?
Yeah.
आप बचपन में did you used to do?
Yeah.
What's the past tense of karna?
You just said it.
Kia.
Very good.
The kia, and then is up will be carte te.
Awesome. Say the entire thing again. Say the entire thing. Say the entire thing.
आप बचपन में क्या करते थे?
आप बचपन
में क्या करते थे?
Awesome. Okay. Awesome. आप बचपन में क्या किया करते थे? Now, the underlying thing is you really want to know something that someone used to do as a habit or as a recurring thing. Okay. It's a great conversation starter. Okay. So even if you don't remember anything in this lecture, even if you can remember this part, that's like a nice icebreaker. When you meet someone and you want to know what they used to do, as a recurring thing. So even if you forgotten everything in the class and you just join now, and if you can remember it, this itself to me is a big thing. Okay. So coming back to the breakout room, that's what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to talk to each other about आप बचपन में क्या किया करते थे. Okay. Questions, anyone, before we stop the broadcast and do this practice? You can write it also. Honestly, you can also do it if you're finding it hard. If you have to leave for some reason the class, you can also do it as a homework exercise, and you can post it on the WhatsApp group. Okay. So I'm going to stop the broadcast.